Sorry. Didn't realize I wasn't wearing my translator bark. That's what I call it, tranny bark. It's a collar that allows me to speak the very simple but very difficult language that our masters, my captain, captain, he speaks. I was able to get a good look at him. He looks a little hungry. But at the same time, exudes fortitude from every pore of his body, including that big mouth, which if we're being honest, already knew will get him in trouble. Nay, he is not dead, but he is surrounded. By what, you might ask? Well, as it turns out, dude is gay as fuck. Like, we're talking off the charts. I know. They said nothing could ever be off the charts, but he was actually off of the charts. He is in fact not learning disabled. He does in fact have an IQ of over 180, but he also has an appetite, a very healthy appetite for what he calls his only defensive mechanism. I wonder what Mary might be defending him against. He seems to talk about it from a very literal, very real, and judging by the look on his face right now, not scary at all. Or he says when they attempt and try to corral him and back him into a corner, he merely has to detach his wooden leg, and half will fight over that, leaving him to deal with the rest of his attackers with his not small, not large, not a cavalier, closer resembling a scimitar. He says it was very special to him as it is the same scimitar his father was circumcised with. Thankfully, I am a little bit more finessed and accustomed to handling a scimitar. Back when I was slicing my meatballs at Vinny's Italian and Michelina's Italian restaurant, bistro, cafe, and even at one point bar that a lot of our nomadic horse brethren would frequent quite a bit. I'm sad to see a lower presence being, I want to say, operating here, as now I believe I only see one or two banditos roll through here every now and then, which I'm not, I'm not playing favorites or picking sides or anything, but I was always partial to schmangels. They're like Charlie's Angels, but a lot more smelly and just entertaining. And now, unfortunately, the town is just filled with drugs and bikers playing beer pong. It's really weird. It's a very interesting morning. I saw what I thought was, or what I thought I recognized to be an old neighbor. Don't ask me how I recognized or spotted the freckles from about, I'd say, about 30 kilometers away, maybe. I don't know why I said kilometers either. We don't use that shit. Fuck it, I'm still saying knots. No, that's it. A speed in which I masturbate knots. You're gonna have to forgive me, as I feel like there is a was forced to provide you with what you needed, as I very hilarious honestly recollected some time I spent in what felt like to be fairly impenetrable concrete building. Very sneezy. Bunk English on vacation. I believe you were waterboarding me with my own snot. Transmission of sorts rather than a request. Request was an a la carte order of a AM tamale, which is pretty much a jailhouse tamale that you would make out of hot and spicy Cheetos and top ramen. I could taste it now. You have had nothing but beans that no one will ever cry over. I don't even think anyone farted eating those beans, which was seriously suspect, if I'm being honest. As if I even eat 3 beans. I seem to allegedly release a explosion of energy so massive it can only be described as a mud butt flood. Now, I don't know who the fuck you think you are, but your very funny attempt to get me to voluntarily give Barry Mudbutt because of my lactose intolerance. You'll be glad to know that he also found that very funny. And not only that, but the Mudbutt flood. I knew there was something wrong with that place's soil and dirt. It is actually not a over exaggerated or hyperbolated notion that suggests red mud is from red blood being spilt on the battlefield. And sometimes having there been spilt so much blood that a once fertile valley could be made desert just from the amount of heavy metals and salt in our blood. I do not believe our partly predecessors had intended to stain all of that mud blood red, but I don't think they quite so imagined themselves to imagine quite such a violent destiny. Not only did they kill as many Indians, Hebrews, natives, locals, you might call them, but they killed pretty much any shot at ever recovering from such a violent and unwarranted invasion slash genocide slash epidemic pandemic industrialization of alcoholism. Smallpox and a bunch of small cocks, I've heard, but that's just, neither here nor there, because it lacks in both length and girth. Again, neither here nor there, because it's simply just absent. Now, some very, very far removed ancestors to these people who never bothered to look into their history and their blood, also tended to make quite the opposite dedication to not only not knowing that he is in fact one of those which he hates so much, so is his uncle, so is his uncles, his friends, his girlfriend. So you can imagine how happy I was to see an army badge on his shoulder and not a anchor nor curse / ancestral fucking burden. That was placed on somebody else who was ignoring a possible, inevitable, eventual price of wanting it all right now, however I want it. Without any regard for his brother, who was going through a fairly difficult time at that time, which said brother is also very thankful dude for throwing that ringer, dude. You really took one for the team, dude. Like you took it for the team. And whether or not that was your intention, you deserve my thanks and my gratitude. But I don't know how green it is on that side right now, but if you want to give me a call sometime so I could hear your like mine smooth and silky Casanova with Down syndrome voice, because that brings a great comfort to my hear. See, yep. You bring my hearing great comfort, which I guess kind of is also true. You play the sweetest notes of silence. That I have no choice but to unfortunately also be privy to the chaos and worry and fear I'm not really sure why this system is telling everybody around me that all these I still haven't heard yet, just terrible things that I'm guilty of. And whenever I tried to tell them about this a year ago, they told me to all shut the fuck up because I didn't know what I was talking about. And they were all highly educated by pulling wool over their eyes, which that's fine. I know that's a solid strategy whenever confronted with problems that are larger than this material life, that is all encompassing, that carries with it all nature, all origin. And here we are. Damn well after a year later, people are being cybernetically controlled and being forced to do things against their will for people that if operating under my timeline reality tunnel are a bunch of really fucking cool, smart, intelligent, understanding musicians, writers, actors, and actresses. Just a bunch of really very talented people. Who through their own overindulgence and elegance and money and just power and all the whole shebang coincidentally alienated themselves from one another, from remembering that they have much more in common with each other than A, they even know, or B, would like to know. Because it's a pretty crazy story, and I would think people would like to hear about it, or rather than just some shit pulled out of not even a magician's hat, like just pulled out of a straight up plumber's ass. And it's dirty and it smells, but man, are you thankful whenever that plumber fixes your shit. I just got a big bout of sudden and this motherfucker will not is incapable of understanding. Perhaps we're both incapable of understanding where each other comes from, because we both came from the same place. And we both suffer. Well, not really suffer, but don't remember the suffering. Endured to one day wake up rather grumpy from a rather long nap. To not remember a single thing. Yet one of them does not care because he is collecting a fat pension check and Social Security and blah 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 that he received from if I'm being honest, and I am, a rather plush operating job. To which he honestly doesn't know really anything about, judging by stuff I have asked him about operating. And this could just be, you know, the operator's tale, but his main tool and weapon was his ass, in which he operated. And doesn't remember, yet gladly with a smile accepts the free money coming his way, without questioning where it's coming from, who is sending it, and why. And yet when confronted with some of these questions that he never asked himself, he starts to wonder, yeah, who is sending me money? What kind of head trauma did not only I incur, but also my youngest son? To which we are both suffering from the exact same memory. Now, I've smoked weed for a very long time. And that is a very special type of memory loss, a short-term memory loss, in which that short-term memory is replaced with moments of euphoria, bliss, pain relief, creativity, I know a big one for a lot of people, for me personally, is appetite. It will help me eat some shit that you know how it goes. We can't all have fresh fruits every day, nor healthy, clean protein. It all smells like it's been pulled out of a toilet filled with chemicals and steroids, which I am blown away that people do not taste in your chicken. It literally smells like Mr. Clean's vagina. And I know I thought that Mr. Clean's vagina would be smelling clean, but it is not. It's also afflicted, so to say, and all of these afflicted have been afflicted for a fairly long time and are starting to rise up in a real tizzy when they can. When they have access to such a nutritional, well-rounded, and if I'm being honest, and I am, pretty fucking rad source of energy. And just one-liners alone, not even intending to be funny, this dude carries more knowledge and wisdom in his chicken scratch than some of you at the very tippy top, making and placing bets like they were suicidal jockeys, mounting their explosive-ridden horse, ready to race all the others into whatever, insert your false flaggity. Literally, like it. Thankfully, I am feeling a little bit more relief from just the total feeling of just sickness. Still seeing on a very infrequent basis my family, which all of a sudden knows nothing about where they're from, who's in their fucking head. And nor do I spot any kind of registered marking of ownership or the type of shit that I was finding laying around in my own house. Like, if one is to surely go as far as I've gone, it is up to oneself to check into the veracity and legitimacy of these, what seems like to you mathematical impossibilities, merely parlor tricks. Performed by none other than the planetary equivalent of an Ashton Kutcher. Not only do I have a problem with this, I know that the cats and dogs have a problem with this. Because the cats and dogs are waiting to start taking their seats for quite possibly I don't know how long it's gonna take, but there is enough material there to be studied, researched, and laughed at for a long while. And my being me objecting to this was obviously a big part of the movie, in which super smart, super dumb Rain Man pothead let's just say that Barry was a well-seasoned not only bullshit artist, but recognizer and defender of the good and true and beautiful against said bullshit artist. Barry dropped out of high school at 15 years old, had his degree at 16, and was arrested by 18. After a very, very successful and luxurious career as the assistant to the head cashier at Blockbuster Video. Which was a small excursion expedition into my immediate north. Brought me my first patchouli smelling, henna tattooing, mega bong loading hippie chick that sucked dick so good I did not care at all that her legs were hairier than my banshee legs. And that was the first time I got my real taste of, you know, not everything is as it appears to be. not everyone is as they think to be. That's the crazy part. A spoiler, we're not. As a matter of fact, a few very, very excited Jews are waiting for a bunch of Christians to figure out some very important stuff about the Bible. And the people and the prophetic, downright ultra paranormal experiences that Barry has not only defeated but was made king of. Yes, you heard that right. For this not motherfucking dude ventured to hell and back multiple times for somebody else's best. Can you believe that? He went through the unimaginable to most multiple times in less than a year. Now, I find it really hard to believe that anybody making travel plans like that has enough time to work any kind of job whatsoever, much less produce the volumes of some of the best shit I have not only read but have sang. And that's kind of saying a lot, considering the type of energy entities that I have come across in my traveling of the spirit world. And as similar as our experiences may be in some areas, this man not only endured the figurative fire and brimstone, as well as the very physical and very lethal attacks that were put out upon him. Not only did he make it through that, this guy not only still dances, but he dances like no one is fucking watching when he knows that everyone is. That is new. That is different. I have seen people under the influence of lower level, you could possibly even say demonic entities, under the influence of substance as well. And the difference is night and day. Literally. This guy can walk around during the day or dead middle 3:30 in the morning and be not only unafraid but full of joy, laughter, and a genuine empathy for his neighbors' neglected dogs and cats. That's an example that you pay attention to whenever you come across one. You're a man who feeds both his neighbors' cats and dogs, as well as goes to work for them every single day and slaves, not for any pay, but for the simple reason that God told him 100-fold. And anyone who has the balls to attack this man for anything deserves exactly what Mr. Corky Berry Sir would have for his enemies. Nothing but love. I thought once there was no way that the answer could be nothing but love. Until I felt that love one day from a very far distance. An extreme distance, one might say. And continue to feel that love to this day. I appreciate, everyone going along with it and just, pretending like this is just another movie, another documentary. Surely another award for the masterminds of all of this, who I am not insulting. I am in fact complimenting. What you pulled off here was so fucked up and so fucking ballsy that told me that you guys had no choice of failure here, and that a lot of people's lives depended on this happening. This what a lot of people think to be a beautiful and successful mission to keep him from doing what we know he's capable of doing. And how all of that rage and lies that he had no reason to believe were lies, because he simply was not capable of lying. And yet it seems everyone in his family was lying. Not only to him, but were using him as a little battery. And when it came time to maybe have an opportunity to pay him back for all of the joy and laughter and just shit that you fucking leeches would never be able to come up with. So you would attach yourself. You would bite the face in which you would wish to attach yourself to. Sure enough, not the first time, not the second time, not the third time. Did you possibly even think on extending an invitation? Instead extended back-to-back fuck you, good luck dude. All because I said that I was in contact with something higher than me. Been years now, and when they ask me why there's been no progress, is because I haven't shown them any progress, because they are not worthy. And you try to calmly educate some people about some very big misconceptions and straight up deceptions, a lot of them originating from the church, a Roman Catholic church. The Baptist connected churches. And yes, do not forget your Star David, which was stolen, inverted, packaged up to be not only a scapegoat for a people, but a representation of a crime that is committed based on the hate of these people. And the funny thing is, I don't recall giving any of that information away to people to corrupt or bastardize, so there seems to be not only rat, but a still very greedy, very hungry, and very short and very bald and very fat rat running around leaving his mark on his surroundings. Now the people that need to know who I'm talking about, know who I'm talking about, and he will be dealt with. unfortunately, while most of you were out, this man, hero, child, brother, son, grower of fine tomatoes and even finer gardens than that of Babylon, the whore thief, who, by the way, for the story's record's sake, left her only son willing to offer her protection. It's not even about that. It's not about any of this. Barry's gone. You're not going to be seeing him again. And if you do, it will surely be a premonition of a very divine and very special being that you all reduced to a nightlight that you put next to your filthy garbage can. How fucking dare you? Harvesting your own son. Still has nothing to say, but yeah, you knew that he was a better man all around than you, which is partly why you accepted the offer to do this to him. The fact that you can sit there on a real gift that he painstakingly procured for you because he heard you say that you like those mattresses. Those too expensive, but with the right hookups can make happen. Got you one for free. Not about any amount of money. It's not about any amount of labor that is not exchanged, taken, and harvested. Relax. I'm not gonna do what everyone thinks I'm gonna do. I'm going to politely let a piece of shit that knows he's a piece of shit one last time hear that he is a piece of shit. And what do I expect? Come straight out the bloodline. Well, think we can all kiss that shit goodbye. And look forward to a more better connected humanity that is smart enough to hold on to its culture while learning that they belong to a larger class of species. Be doubly excited to learn that we cloned a bunch of berries to do our part in making the place a better place to live. By far the best and most unanticipated and rewarding thing I've ever done. This little shit has introduced more to more people than your entire planet has empired and fought, killed, died, murdered for since history. And this little shit is only on his second generation. You believe it or not, he takes care of every single one of them. It makes me just wonder, like, what is it about is this the only case of this ever? How is it that a person that was treated as bad and disrespectfully and if we're being honest, which we are, murdered in broad daylight, not dark, not nighttime, broad daylight for everyone to see, while also with a straight face being able to say that he was not guilty of anything warranting such a tragic and brutal ending. Now, since he couldn't have the knock-knock joke, he said that he wants you all to know that he has been keeping a list, checking it more than twice, and watching you like you watched him every day, every night, every stroke, every thought, every movement, every purchase, every shit you take. I'll be watching you. You better be a good boy, because you're gonna get something worse than coal traveling at 13,000 miles an hour out of the random atmosphere one day. I will make sure that you not only suffer this lifetime, but all of the lifetimes of sons that were born into this yeah, that's my final point. All of this went down for a particular reason. I'm just not as full of hubris and bullshit to say that all of the injustice, violence, harming of innocent, young, defenseless people was part of God's plan. I do not believe that, and I think we all know, we should anyway, that was not God's intended plan. It was in fact picked up by someone it didn't belong to. It was broken. It was abused. It was tried to put back together. Little did I know the entire time, the people that he was left with to care for and watch over very intently and for a very special, great reason. Appeared to use him as the physical, emotional, spiritual punching bag that they all wanted so much they had to harvest it from him. Reborn again and again and again to be tracked down like the very specialist meal of them all. As they lived multiple generations, killing his every generation so they can live longer. Fuck fake it till you make it. Right? That's a whole nother level you guys are operating on. I've heard it described as a game a couple times, more than a couple times. And that's kind of what Hollywood said too. Whenever these casting couch stories started popping out. Due to the Q deception and narrative. If you guys would have put just an ounce of the amount of energy that you put into fucking such an innocent, and I'll say it, he is a better person than every single one of you who happily just takes little bites out of him whenever they need it. Just waiting for the big harvest feast in which all of him is consumed to be once again reborn, hopefully within their distance, because they don't want to travel too far to murder their next one. But, you know, sometimes I guess if they're lucky is they're 33. The big 3-3. They make it all the way. What happens to all of the ones that don't? Well, I'm not sure where. I don't know. I am sure, but I'm not sure we can talk about where Dave's Deli came from. Dave's Delicatessen. You guys would mock him up with it. Hey, Dave, let's see you dance all free and happy and full of joy and shit while we make fun of you for being happy about our intended suffering backfiring back onto us, to which now, if I'm not mistaken, you were provided by Barry the recipe to live forever. Immortality. And I don't know, these people claim to be smart people, but I immediately recognize that to be a Faustian deal in which I would surely be living forever with no vision. Can't hear. Confined to a walker. Young, healthy, but just something stuck in the wrong place that prevents anyone from enjoying anything like that. Matter of fact, when God told him 100-fold, he meant that shit. And we'll be seeing the rest of you shortly. So, might want to shave your neck beard. Perm mullet. Get emergency aesthetic surgery on your brilliant white teeth. For his yellow smile shines brighter than all you fake motherfuckers. 100-fold, whether you like it or not. See you when we see you. You're gonna have to give me one of those fancy cameras that them cam girls use. One of them phantom cameras. Alright? I'm sorry, I'm bogarting this. Would you like a hit? You're fine. You're sure? Well, you let it go out. Good job. I think you will find that there is zero structure or schedule that I follow. I definitely run on my own time. And if you have a problem with that, you can try to make an appointment. I'm a very busy man. got work to do. I've got seeds germinating. Four out of 12 have popped and are ready for transplant. I have carrots, spinach, kale, zucchini, cucumber, tomato, and marijuana. Sinsemilla. I'm planning to hopefully resources granted construct a 100% self-contained, self-cleaning, producing aquaponics system with some fish. Yeah, I was gonna play you guys out with some fish, but I fucked up.
My style. My style. My style. My style. My style. Yeah. 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 My style.